Hey church, Micah White here for our daily devotional. We're going to be looking at Matthew chapter 13 and 14, two chapters full of wonderful parables from Jesus in his earthly teaching. Also some incredible stories like feeding the 5,000, walking on water. Yes, all those things happen in two chapters. I'm going to zero in on chapter 13 and the parable of the sower. In that story, Jesus uses the figurative language of a farmer who is spreading seed. The seed is representative of the Word of God, and the soil that it falls on is representative of people and their willingness to accept the seed, the Word of God, and the salvation that Jesus is offering. I want to fast forward to the end of the parable where Jesus tells the listeners that the good soil not only receives the Word, but also bears fruit keeping with the Word of God, having salvation brought to realization in their lives change, and it reflects the goodness and the character of God. And then that person then duplicates 30, 60, 100 times more the seed into others' lives. What Jesus is really saying here is that when the Word of God falls on good soil and a heart that is ready to receive it, a heart that is humble to change its course, to follow and fall under the authority of God, what happens is not only that life is changed, but that many more lives are changed. And the reason that many more lives are changed is because that person then becomes a sower themselves. They then become someone who is spreading the Word of God, the love of God, the salvation of God to the people around them. The examples he gives in the text of the different types of soil I think are very fitting for our lives, because certainly as we try to send out the goodness and the salvation of God to those around us, that's only available through Jesus. There's a couple different ways that people respond. The first one is that someone who hears the word just doesn't really quite understand it. And so the evil one, as the text says, comes and snatches away what was sown. And we certainly see that as we share with people. The second thing is the one who received the seed that fell on rocky places is the man who hears the word, but at once, and receives it, but then at once goes away and forgets a short time later what has even been talked about. In other words, it's a nice idea, it sounds good, but they don't really let it take root in their hearts. And then the third type of soil it mentions is one that has thorns in it. And as the seed falls on that soil, as the Word of God goes out to that type of person, the text says the worries of life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke it out. In other words, the other pursuits that a person has doesn't leave any room for God. And so this morning, I hope that you will be encouraged that as a disciple of Christ, a person of good soil where the Word of God has taken root in your life, you have the opportunity to help others see the goodness of God and receive that into their life. And as you go out and you spread that seed of God's love, be prepared that some just straight won't receive it at all. Some will receive it and then walk away from it, and then some will be too worried about other things. But what we're concerned about and praying for is that there would be some who are good soil, just like you and I were at one point, who are ready to receive and duplicate the love of God that we receive and then give to others. We hope that you have a wonderful day today. Our church loves you and cares for you. Let us know how we can be in prayer and help to you. God bless.